guys, Ann here. It is time for our June 2019 Beginner Lampwork Fun Challenge page implosion tutorial. I'm going to show you how to make a cute little implosion bead. Can't really see it very well, but they turn out really cute, and I will show you in the comments or in the picture for this tutorial what exactly we're making. What you'll need are a base color, whatever color you want to use as your base, or clear if you want to use a clear as your base. Whatever colors you want to implode. I'm going to make a rainbow, so I have a red, a orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, and then I'm going to use a base of very light sky blue. And then you'll also need a nice clear. I only use Zephyr because it's the nicest clear I've found, but if you have a clear that you love, go with that. I'm going to start by placing a very, very thin layer of my base color onto my mandrel. Get rid of that big old hunk there. I want this to be as thin as I can, and I want it to be roughly 15 millimeters. So in order to know how big I want my bead, I'm going to use my bead roller as my guide. So I know I want a 15 millimeter bead, so I want my base color to be about 15 millimeters. Now I have my base down. You can see how thin a layer of glass that I have is. I don't want a big center there. Next, I'm going to work on making a disc. So you guys will be able to use all of those challenges that we've done over the last couple of months to continue to learn with your discs. I'm going to make a disc on this upper edge on the blue. So I want it to be on that top upper edge of the blue. Not on the mandrel itself, but on that blue. And I'm going to make my disc roughly 7 rotations around, because I want enough room to put all of my colors on there. So that was 1. I'll go with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so that's a pretty big honking disc there that I've got. It's not super thin, it's not super thick. I'm not going to manipulate it in any way at this point, because if I go trying to squish it down, all I end up doing is breaking my bead release, and I don't want to do that for this particular bead, or any bead for that matter. So I'm going to heat up the back of this disc a little bit, make sure it's got some insurance heat. When I'm placing this first round of dots, I want to place it and touch both the blue and the clear. So, right in there. I want to make a dot big enough so that it can touch both the clear and the blue. If I do not touch the blue, and I only put it on the clear, then it's not going to pull that dot downward. It's just going to look like a dot hanging out in the middle of your bead, which is not really what we're aiming for this particular bead. So I'm going to make a dot, and I'm going to touch the blue, and I'm going to touch the clear, and I'm going to go in a circle all the way around that where that blue and clear meet, and I'm going to put little red dots. I don't want my little red dots to touch each other, so then they just blend together and they're just not as pretty. Alright, so now I have my line of red dots, and I managed to get an extra red dot, and so be it, because it wants to live there. It wants to live there so badly that when I did that, oh, there we go. It popped off the other red dot that was there next to it. Anyway, So let me fill in that hole that I just created with another red dot. All right. Now I'm going to heat up those red dots to make sure they don't go popping off. I'm going to heat up the back of my disc. My disc has cracked a little bit, and that is what you want to not do. You don't want that disc to crack if you can help it. If you can't, if it cracks, again, you can choose either to move on and throw that bead away and start over fresh, or you can heal that crack like I'm trying to do here. And that is just by heating it slowly and then trying to keep my disc shaped. So I think that worked fine for me. Now I'm going to go with an orange set of dots around this red set of dots. But that just shows you that, you know, everybody has problems with cracking. If you're not paying attention, or you're doing something else and not thinking about insurance heat, it will crack on you, especially these discs, so because they're thin. All right, so that's my layer, or my circle of orange. I'm going to move on to my circle of yellow here after I give insurance heat. Insurance heat those dots, and insurance heat the back of my disc. Now I'm going to make my round of yellow dots. The closer you can get them to each other without touching, the better. It just fills in your bead with more color. The more clear you have there, you'll see the clear, and you won't have any color there to fill in the clear. So it's up to you, whatever you like, but I want to aim towards filling it in as much as possible for my own preference. So I'm heating up those yellow dots I just put on. I'm giving some insurance heat to the back of my disc. Now I'm going to come in with my green. And I'm going to fill in between these dots again, keeping them as close as possible to the other dots without touching them. Okay, and now it's time for the blue, so I'm going to insurance heat the back of my disc. Make sure those green ones don't pop off. Now we'll move on to my blue. Okay, now I've got my blues on there. I'm going to heat them in a little bit. Go to the other side, heat up my disc. Now we're going to put the purples on. With the last row of your color, or whatever color you're going to use for your implosion, you don't want it to touch, you don't want it to be on the outer edge of this. You want it to be on the outer inner rim of the clear, but you don't want it to touch that outer edge of your disc. So if it does, then it won't pull it all the way down to meet the blue, and you'll end up with some color down there that you don't particularly want. You can cover it up with clear if you have to, but better just not to get it if you can help it. So now I'm making sure that all of my color dots are on there, giving some insurance heat to the back. Now I'm ready to implode this. You can see all those beautiful dots. I got lots and lots of dots. So in order to implode this, I'm going to aim my heat right here on this outer aspect. You can see it if I hold it up there. Right there and underneath. So it's going to be coming in underneath, but it's going to be towards the edge of my clear. By doing this, it's allowing that clear to start coming over top of those dots and pulling them down, which is what an implosion is. You're using that clear to pull those dots downward. Now you're going to find that with this disc, just like I'm sure some of you found when you were doing your hollows, that sometimes the disc wants to flop around. So pull it out of the heat, let it cool down, and then go back in. Again, in that same area where we were before, on the outer edge of the clear and coming in from underneath. Now you may also find that one side of your disc is imploding faster than the other. Again, pull it out, gain control, see which side is imploding slower, and heat that side up a little bit more until it gets to about the same level as the other side. Okay? And then you can pull it out again, let everything cool down, and then try and keep that heat facing the outer edge of that clear and underneath where those dots are. Your bead wants to be round, so it is working its way down that center core of whatever color I put on there, and I put blue, so whatever color you might have put on there. And I have one side of this that definitely want it to implode faster than the other, so I'm just going to encourage it to slow down by patting it a little bit, and then I'm going to come in over on this other side and let it pull down a little bit more. There we go. So now I have a mostly round bead. If I didn't have a bead roller, I would just work on adding a little bit more clear to the upper side. But since I have a bead roller and I know exactly what size I want this bead to be, I'm gonna gauge it in my bead roller. And then I'm gonna come in here with a little bit of clear to this upper edge. Put a rim of clear around there so that it will fit perfectly into my bead roller. And that's how you do an implosion bead. Okay, so these are difficult. They're not super easy, but again, it's a challenge, and you can make them any color that you want to on the inside. You can leave the inside core clear. You can do one color only of your dots. You can do a couple colors. You alternate them. You can do anything. So have fun with these and give it a try. Even if it doesn't work the first time, try it again and see if you can get them to work. They're fun in the end, and they make cute little beads. So have fun. Take care. Bye. See you next month.